Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuning in from. First and foremost, please know we're glad you're here. You're part of our family and we love you. We're coming at you live from Brooklyn and Queens in New York. This is Spirit Matters, your daily spiritual check-in. I'm Dal Grunga and I'm here with the Chitta Gopi, and we love you. And we're glad you're here, and I'm glad to be here. How about you?
I'm glad to be here.
She's glad to be here. She's forced to say that. Otherwise, it's part of her contract. We have to tell people that we are glad we are here. I'm just joking. We are. This is special, special time together. We have the opportunity to come together. It's our morning, 9 a.m. We do this live and we read Bhagavad Gita, which is a beautiful reminder that we're not alone, that there is spiritual hope, and that there's divine wisdom that can guide our lives. We are in the middle of the third chapter, and that's where we're at. Anything you want to say, Chuta, before we launch or get going or recap or reframe?
Just that we are feeling sheltered this morning.
We're feeling sheltered this morning. Anything particular about this morning that's bringing shelter?
It's another day that I get an opportunity to chant the holy names. Let's see if I take it up or not.
It's up to me whether I take it up or not. Okay. What verse are we on?
We
Is it
left
19?
off. Yes, we left off on 19. And we were talking about all manner of things yesterday.
All manner of things.
But we were also talking about allowing our endeavor to be the success.
Allowing our endeavor to be the. You want to bring us up to speed on that one? If someone's listening for the first time, or they're like me and they don't remember what they said 2 seconds ago.
Well, you had questions and points that you wanted to bring up.
Did I? Did I already bring those up?
um,
Thought I already brought them up. Where did we leave off?
we were speaking about adjusting our goals,
Mm,
and remembering that if our goal is to uh, reach a certain thing or whatever, then we're thinking that that next thing is going to make us happy. And really, our goal can be to allow our sincere endeavors to be enough, to bring us that much closer to our Supreme Person, to allow the attainment of our Supreme Person to be the goal, to find pleasure in the self, in the capital S, rather than thinking that all of these other things are going to make us happiest. When
mm,
really establishing and developing that relationship with our Supreme Person can be the ultimate goal. And then looking at how so many of the other things in our lives can bring us closer to that goal, even if we're working a day job, even if we are doing the thing that is right for us, but may not even seem right for everyone else. And we can allow that attainment of the Supreme Person to be the goal, not just for us, but for others. So we can wonder if we are able to give and receive love based on this. Did I help myself get closer to my Supreme Person today? And was I able to help somebody else get closer to their Supreme Person today? And that can be the goal. That can
mm,
be the thing that makes us happiest. Because our
yeah.
sincere endeavors are enough. Krishna is not looking at all of the consequences of all of the actions as the goal, because we are not in control of that. But he is looking at our efforts and our endeavors.
Yeah. And that I was thinking that maybe we left off in verse 19 yesterday, and then reading it, I realized that we did read verse 19 yesterday, because I remember you quoted some of the purport and commentary. But I think the verse is worth rereading because I think you're refreshing everything from yesterday and recapping it so nicely. Verse 19 in the 3rd chapter of Gita says, therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, meaning the results or the rewards or the things that you get as a result of doing what you do, the job, reputation, the money, the whatever, even the feeling of satisfaction or happiness or whatever you get, like not being attached to what you think is going to come as a result to you doing something. So without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, or by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. And then Srila Prabhupada mentions in his commentary, I don't think we read this line of the commentary yesterday. He said, a person, therefore, acting for Krishna. So Prabhupada swapped supreme with Krishna. He's given a name, Krishna, or in Krishna consciousness, under proper guidance and without attachment. Those are two really big words or concepts that will be peppered and elaborated on throughout the Gita. Proper guidance and without attachment. Under proper guidance without attachment to the result of the work is certainly making progress toward the supreme goal of life. So when you're talking about like what is that actual goal that I'm looking for? And if my goal is simply to come closer to that supreme person, like love is the ultimate reality. Love is the highest attainment. Love is the greatest yearning of the living being. And our journey through the material world is a constant searching of where can I find that person, that place, that thing, that ideal, that activity that can receive my love and reciprocate with my love. Where can I experience that exchange of love in a way that's lasting, in a way that's fulfilling, in a way that is complete, in a way that is sufficient? And so when we talk about the supreme with a capital S, we're talking about that supreme object of love, that supreme reciprocator of love, that supreme person, because love is personal. And so when we talk about spiritual life, so much of it seems to be, a set of rules. I got to be a good person. I got to perform. I got to blah, 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 blah. And what Krishnas do is he's knocking all of that over like a Jenga board. There's no board in Jenga. It's just pieces, like a Jenga tower. He's knocking all of that over and just saying, actually, at the end of the day, the goal is that you just get to know me better and come closer to me in love. And therefore, you should perform your activities in this world and go about your life in that meditation, at the same time knowing that some days there'll be success, some days there'll be outer success, some days there'll be outer failure, some days it'll feel warm and fuzzy, sometimes it'll be really, really hard. But Prabhupada mentions a person therefore acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness under proper guidance and without attachment to the result of the work is certainly making progress toward the supreme goal of life. And I think that this word under proper guidance and without attachment is so key and essential, because otherwise we get caught in that space of, well, God told me to do it, or I just feel in my heart that this is what's right and what I should be doing. And we get confused sometimes because unless we are, because we all have a mind and we all have an ego. And sometimes what we think is the voice of our inner conscience can actually be the voice of our mental concoction, if we want to use that word that comes up here often, our mental fabrications or our ego preferences. And so it's important for us to also have guides, have places where we go to double check, and without attachment. I'm not attached to being right. I'm open to being redirected, corrected, to being wrong sometimes, and to learning and to growing. And if we put ourselves in a place where we have guides in our life, where I'm not attached to being right and I'm not attached to things going the way I thought they need to be, and my sincere endeavor is that I just want to do whatever the right thing for me is, and I want to come closer in love to that supreme person, then we are certainly making progress toward the supreme goal of life. And that can assist us in navigating some of those humps and hurdles of just the real tough challenges of trudging through the muck of the material world. I got more I can say on that, but I feel like I got to pause and hear from you because I love hearing from you.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes what we what we start to confuse as our ego and our mind just telling us whatever are actually really deep-seated emotions. Um, they're just kind of misdirected. And so we might think, but I am yearning for love and all of these things. Like how could that be the dictates of my ego? Then why is my life turning out so badly? Right? If we're thinking the whole the whole idea is to get closer to and more loving with a supreme person. It's like, well, I am trying for love. Then why is my life going so badly? And yes, some of our emotions are coming from this really deep-seated place. It doesn't mean that our internal original idea was wrong. Sometimes we're just looking for it from the wrong person, and this goes back into limited people trying to fulfill our unlimited desires. And so sometimes we have to take that pressure off of other people and that pressure off of ourselves. Because the more that we have that expectation that someone, something, somewhere is going to fulfill all of these unlimited desires, we keep running into that brick wall of kind of despair a little bit. That brick wall of disappointment, feeling like, well, you didn't fulfill all the things that I thought you were going to fulfill, but that person didn't enter into that contract. But there is a person who did. There's a supreme person who absolutely entered into that contract with each and every single one of us. So we can look for people to be able to supplement those needs, but our original source for going to fulfilling all of these needs should be Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you.
There should be
Thank
supplements, but
There should be supplements. Yeah, what are
we
the
kind of can't do
supplements?
it without Krishna.
um I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sorry for I'm sorry for assuming that you were going to fill all my needs. I forgot that you're just a supplement to my main nourishment.
Maybe please don't tell the people that they are supplements like that.
Thank you for being my supplement. Um I was just conversing with someone recently because I studied for a year in social work in Hunter College, and then I switched majors, and so I had some experience there. Kishore, who's normally here with us, taking as a co-host, has a bachelor's in social work, and I was just conversing with somebody just today and yesterday, the last couple of days, who is getting their master's in social work, I believe, or they're in social work, and there's just something that's so common in that field where you sort of enter with this like very sincere, excited desire to help people. Do you see there's suffering in the world? You see there's vulnerable populations in need, and you want to kind of take up the cause and assist and do something. And then you start to enter into and you realize like how sort of deep the rabbit hole goes, how broken certain systems are, just how rough of a place some people really, really, really are in. And it's like more than just like my 2-hour visit to a shelter to spend time with people that's going to like be required to actually like help people pull out of the circumstance that they're in, like battered women shelters or foster care agencies or people struggling with addictions or people on eviction notice or domestic abuse cases or et cetera. and it can kind of lead to this like really severe like burnout fatigue, where you realize like how much can I really do? You know, can I really do anything? Is it even worth it? Will things ever get better? And we start to slide down this kind of like this hopelessness pattern, and then it kind of leads to our own depression, and then like we realize that we're giving beyond our means and not nourishing ourselves, and then like we're getting so like just actually kind of lost in this sense, and then feeling insufficient, and like what can anything really be done? Can people really be helped? Do I have anything in me to do something? And I'm actually starting to feel terrible about myself, because I'm just losing myself in this endeavor to try to help other people, and I'm just kind of losing the need to nourish myself, and just getting caught up in that. And so I was just talking with somebody about that recently, and I think that very much is the situation Arjuna is finding himself in some ways, where it's just like what can be done in this situation, this circumstance. And Arjuna, Krishna is so much encouraging Arjuna that your job isn't to fix all of the problems. Your job isn't even to make anybody else happy. Your job isn't to make someone else's suffering go away. That's my job. Only I can. Nobody can do that for anybody else other than that supreme person. And the way that it takes place, what we're meant to do is reminding ourselves that we're also on that journey back to that supreme person. Don't forget that we ourselves are on a journey towards wholeness. It's not that like we are these perfected, enlightened beings that figured it all out. My heart is just filled with joy and love, and I've got no internal issues going on, and I'm feeling connected all the time. And now I'm going to go and share the beautiful wholeness that I have perpetually with other people, because, I'm a perfect being, and I'm just going to share some of that perfection, hope that it rubs off on you. Like, I'm a broken mess also. And so remembering that like both need to take place. Like, I am first and foremost on my journey back to wholeness, and my endeavor to reach out to other people, or to do whatever is right for me in a particular situation, whether it's reaching out and trying to help somebody, whether it's staying home and just taking care of myself, whether it's something in between. um the goal isn't that I'm going to make another person happy or change or fix their life. The goal is that through that endeavor, I will partner with and sort of come to understand um, that supreme person a little bit better, and align myself with them in a way that makes me feel more connected, not as the doer and the change maker, but as we use this word as a surrendered servant, or an instrument, becoming an instrument in God's planet, and feeling shelter in that way. Don't know if it made sense at the end there, but I felt like I was
No, it
giving it my
definitely.
best, which is what we're talking about here. I gave it
Um,
my best.
it definitely made sense. I think, and this is something that I've been trying to do with myself the past several days, weeks, months. I don't know. I think we have to be careful of the way that we speak to ourselves and the language that we use. Um, there's so many terms for how dark we are feeling. Um, if I'm not able to fix this whole thing, then what did I even do? It is, we need to stop attaching these all or nothing quantifiers to things. Either I have fixed everything or I've done nothing. Like, can't there
Yes.
exist a middle ground? Either I am a perfected soul or I'm a broken mess. Can we erase that from our lexicon of words that we use for ourselves? Must we be broken? Maybe things are functioning exactly the way they're meant to function. Maybe we don't have to be either perfect or broken. I don't want to be broken anymore. I want to stop waking up reminding myself that I'm broken. Why am I doing that? Because then what is fixed? What is my idea or my goal of fixed? I'm here. I'm sheltered. I'm endeavoring. And the rest, is there someone demanding to know, like, but how healed are you? Well, I don't see how that's anybody else's business. Unless you're in a really, really serious, deep bonded relationship with someone. And then in that case, the language still, it should be different. I feel like I want to stop using these nihilistic quantifiers for ourselves. We are souls. And we are souls on this journey that has been here for lifetimes as we try and make it back to our supreme friend. Not broken, not withered by the wind, not cut by any weapon. So ultimately, we are not broken messes. We are not in control. But our truth of not being in control does not mean that simply because we cannot control everything, simply because we are one small jiva, one small super soul in a big, massive operating system, does not mean that we are insignificant and nothing. And I think that this is where we confuse the humility a little bit. We can hear saints and preachers speak about how humble they are, or how humble our entire disciplic succession is. And we can get caught up in, yes, that's the right kind of thinking, where I think that I'm nothing and I'm lower than a straw on the street and I'm completely broken. Whoa. The fact that we are lower than a straw on the street, or one very small particle of a very big moving organism, does not mean that we are broken. It is simply to remind us that I cannot control all of these situations. If you get somebody who's at a starting level at a job, they understand that there are some things that are out of their pay grade. That is truth. That is the humility. But it doesn't mean that they think that they are the most broken part of the corporation. They just understand the truth that I am one small worker. I'm not the CEO. Which means sometimes that we leave our job at the job. Sometimes we have to leave that previous day where it is. But I want to be careful about how we speak to ourselves, how we are showing up for ourselves. Because if we keep these all or nothing quantifiers, we will constantly feel that kind of like soul-sucking despair. I've done nothing. If I didn't chant all my japa, does it even count? Yes. If you just chant one mantra, it counts. It doesn't mean that everything has been lost because you haven't chanted the 16. Because the 16 was it was an amended effort for us now. Because what happens when it was 64? All or nothing. But Krishna's never been all or nothing. And that's what he tells Arjuna: in this endeavor, there's no loss, no diminution. He is not an all or nothing kind of person. He is willing to meet us where we are all residing, even if that changes and fluctuates from day to day. Where we're at today might not be where we were yesterday, and Krishna will still meet us there. And he will still say, in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution. He doesn't say, well, you didn't try as hard today as you did yesterday, so like, what's the deal? Why are you not giving your best? Krishna is meeting us every day where we're at, understanding that where we are will change. God is accommodating for it. I feel like we should also.
Thank you. I have a question that I want to start tomorrow with, which is normally how I end our podcasts. But I'm going to speak it out loud so we know where we're going. Is, I mean, you talked about, you referenced something. I'm tired of. You said something to the effect of, I'm tired of feeling broken, or tired of of referring to myself as broken, or using those words, etc. And so I always love hearing what you're saying, and because you're such a genuine, real, I always know that what you're sharing is coming from your personal digesting and reflecting and churning of something. And so I wanted to hear from you. Was there a point in your life where you decided to start shifting that? And what were the things that you felt broken about that you wanted to shift your perspective on to, what, like, I'm not broken. I'm actually just right where I'm meant to be. And I wanted to kind of maybe, and I can share too. So, because otherwise I feel like I'm asking you all the personal questions, and you're like, what about you? But I think that it might be a fruitful discussion to look at, like, what are the things we normally feel broken about, or what are the things we normally look at in our life and things like, yep, that means that I'm broken. And what was the turning point, or what are the turning points, because I feel like it's a continuous turning point, to change that in our lives, and what does it look like for us individually to change that? Does the question make sense?
It does make sense, but you have to write it down.
Okay, I'll write it down. Somebody write that one down. Okay, we are time for Kimberly to wrap it up for us today. What do you got for us, Kimberly, and our takeaways for this morning?
Thank you. Today we're taking away that love is the ultimate reality. And the Supreme Person, Krishna, has entered into a contract with each of us to be the main source of nourishment to fulfill all our needs. Everything else can be a supplement to that. And we are spirit souls that can't be broken. And we can shift our all or nothing thinking. Krishna meets us every day where we are at, and we are all on a journey towards wholeness. Hare
That we are. Closing word, Achyuta.
My closing word is that I know I use it all the time, that phrase that Krishna will meet us where we're at. But that dangling preposition at the end of that sentence always makes me like, so I'm trying to figure out, I think it's actually just supposed to be Krishna will meet us where we are. The English major in me, just after some time, I was just like, I really got to stop using this
Krishna
phrase.
meet you where you is.
Ah, it's a dangling preposition. Why is it dangling?
My takeaway
Hanging
is
on.
that I'm just a broken mess. No, my takeaway is that I right where I need to be. Right where I need to be. Things aren't broken. They're working the way they need to be. Maybe not the way they need to be in order to fulfill my material aspirations, what I think I need to have. But I'm right where I need to be, and things are working the way they need to be in order for me to come closer to Krishna. So thank you for that reminder.
It's gonna sound. I'm gonna just because it's one of those things. Um, as an exercise, all the things that come up in our day, we're gonna look at some stuff. Some of that stuff's gonna make us a little upset and a little angry and a little bit like it's gonna churn up some stuff inside. And then we have to look at it. And what if we looked at it and said, the system's not broken? What if the system's not broken? Yeah, I know. Then brings up a lot of despair and a lot of anxiety and a lot of clawing at the, but then why in the world, why, for the love of all that is good and holy in this place, would there be a situation like this where there's oppression and depression and all of the, and you mean to tell me that it's not broken? It's not broken. This is not home. So it's not broken. It is functioning the way it is supposed to, because the function of this place is to frustrate a soul enough so that they remember that this is not home. And we see everybody struggling with that in various ways, shapes, and forms, but it's not broken. We are not supposed to allow this place to be our end all be all. You can't fix it because it's not broken. But we can become supplements to others. And that is a worthy goal. Finding the supplements in our lives and trying to become a supplement, maybe just to one more person. Because we can't fix this entire place. This is not broken.
That's a great Valentine's Day card. Will you be my supplement? We should keep that one. We should keep that
It's going to
one.
be a Spirit Matters Valentine's Day
Spirit Matters Valentine's Day
really
shirt.
adorable.
Will you be my supplement?
It's like one vitamin talking to another.
Yeah, instead of the little heart candies, it's like a little vitamin pill.
Yeah.
And it says, will you be my supplement? Thank you. I love what you were sharing, Achuta. And it's a reminder for me also that things aren't broken. Okay, guys, we love you. We're grateful for you. We appreciate you. Please, please be well. Take care. Know that you're loved. Know that you're not alone. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye-bye.